Hi Diamond, how you doing? Let's go over the pivots and the Elliott Wave scenario. So I have 4 pivots on my chart, as you can see, but this one is almost too old because, as you know, a pivot is not allowed to be older than 3 days for us to use it, and this one is now 2 days and 18 hours, so it's almost overdue, let's say. So we have to remove this one somewhere during the day. Not that that is a problem, because we don't really have any bullish CVDs with these lows, and probably not anytime soon, because we're talking about this pivot and this one, and look how high the CVD is, right? So it's very unlikely to get any sort of a setup with these lows. So that's not really interesting to me today. It's much more interesting what is happening locally. We have the high over here and we have a pivot low over here, but both of these have a little bit of a meh to it, like and that is because of this. Now in the rules, right, it says we want to see 2 candles down, retracement, 2 candles up minimum, and then a move to the downside to take the low once again. Then the question becomes, is this a retracement? Now what we see over here, of course, is we see green candle number 1 and green candle number 2. Now there, it is not necessary for the second candle to come straight after the first one, right? It's perfectly fine to have a red one in the middle. The thing is that, yes, this one did take the high of the first, it did close higher than the first, but it also took the low of the first. So is that then a 2 candle retracement, right, where we actually want to see a bit of a retrace? And that is doubtful. I don't wrote anything down about can the second candle take the low or not of the first one, you know what I mean? But it is not ideal. So it is definitely something I will keep in mind with regards to potential setups here. Again, it's not ideal. It might be one of these scenarios where I'm like, you know what, I prefer to observe and see what happens, because as we know, there will always be a next scenario and a better scenario. And if we compare it, let's say, with the trades that we had previously, then here, right, we had our long, right, over here, and we had the move up, no waves here, right, and then we get a move down, solid retracement, as you can see, multiple candles, and then we take the high again, multiple candles, and then we take the high. That is very easy to identify, right? Then here, this was also, remember, a short setup, win overnight. We had our candle 1 down, candle 2 down, right, move down, 2 candles up, second candle didn't take the low over here, and we move towards the downside, creating a wave structure, retracement, entry, move down, win. So the moment that I start to like with the setups, if you don't have to think about is this a wave, yes or no, those are the best ones, right? Because it's clear. This one is one of those waves where you do have to think like, okay, does this fit the rule? Does this fit the narrative, the 2 waves up and 2 waves down, and that sort of, and it is a little bit doubtful. So that is something I will carry with me today with regards to potential setups in this range. And therefore also, is this a pivot, yes or no? If this is not regarded as a retracement, then for me it's quite difficult to really have this as a retracement, but I do like to at least observe what happens in the range. But then it means you need to see this take the low and then a retracement once more, and it also would mean that this is not a pivot. So it has, of course, some implications for potential setups today, because if price would move down now, we would have a bullish CVD, bullish CVD potential setup, right? If price would now move to the downside, hit the golden pocket, pivot here, potential long. So yeah, not yet sure, and that's just sometimes the way it is, right? That's just sometimes the way it is. Now, with regards to Elliott Waves, yesterday we broke out over here, right? And that was quite interesting. So on this candle that retested the high, so this wick over here, retesting this high, I'll show you here, as you can see, that was an entry in my case. And then I was like, let's see, right? And then we hit the 786, price came down, observing the reaction over here, but we had bearish CVD divergences. I wrote pretty much everything in the group, which was for me a reason to be like, nope, not feeling this. Stop loss originally was below here. I eventually moved it up, and then later pretty much closed at like break even because I wasn't feeling this this setup. So all good, all nice, all perfect, no problemo there. And the stop loss of the biggest setup, because like I managed this new setup with regards to the bigger one. So if this was a full loss over here, if price would have come down and hit the stop loss full, the stop loss here would still give me profit with the bigger setup. Now this like stop loss is actually still here and hasn't been hit, as you can see, so that's actually quite nice. If price does come down here once again, not too much support, and expecting price to probably move down, so I'll just leave it here for the time being. There's no problem with having the stop loss here. If price does move towards the upside, well, we're going to see what price does once it goes up. Observe the reaction at the triple top, observe the reaction over here, and once we see proper weakness, that would be a reason to either TP or exit, right? So just being very, very patient. If price moves above here, at least above, then there is the opportunity for a new entry. This then has to be a wave C in a flat structure, A, B, C, and then you want to see a move towards the upside, break this high. There might be a new potential Elliott wave long, but yeah, need to see proper signs of strength, right? So let's wait and see. We still have the resistance that we have to deal with over here, and this also in some scenarios can be the high for now, a corrective structure to the downside as shown in the update video this morning as well. So let's be patient. Let's see what the chart is going to give us, right? Little bit of a thingy here locally, which is what I spoke most about in this video, because it's not always ideal, and this is one of those things that I'm not sure if I'm feeling this as a retracement. Actually, like, the answer is no, else I wouldn't really be talking about it. So I'll probably just remain very, very calm and see what price does. So that being said, hope you are gonna have a great week. Let's see if we can get some nice profit this week as well. Trade safe, and I will catch you in the group.